Hello, Bulldog fans. Welcome into the Chris Hatcher Show presented by Coca-Cola. I'm John McAfoos filling in for Kevin Blackwell. Coach, always appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. Glad to be on the show today, buddy.
Well, the Bulldogs hosted the Chattanooga Mocs this past weekend here at Cybert Stadium for homecoming. Fell a little bit short, 35-27. Coach, team fought back in the second half, ultimately just came up a little bit short.
We did. It was a tough football game for us. We came out flat, and that's my fault. I don't know why. But we didn't play with a lot of energy, and then the second half, I thought that we competed very hard, and we cut the lead down to 8. Then they jumped back up to 15, and then we cut it back down late with a chance to win the ball game. We had opportunities, but we fought hard the second half. We played a lot better than we did the first half. We just got in too big a hole, and when you're a team like us right now, that's a fragile team. The overtime games have kind of taken its toll on us a little bit. We don't have enough firepower to overcome a big deficit, and that's what did us in on Saturday.
Talk a little bit about the quarterback play. Chris started. You went to Liam in the second quarter. We saw them alternate possessions. Then Liam took the second half. Played pretty well. A couple touchdowns on the ground, also one in the air. What did you see out of Liam?
Well, I thought he played maybe one of his better games of the season, and I thought Chris played well. Both of them had a turnover that we got to eliminate those. But we went in the game planning on playing both of them. And we just kind of felt like, down there, the game that Liam gave us the best chance to win. And at that particular juncture, now this week may be a totally different way it all pans out. But I thought he managed it well. Again, I think both guys, we missed on a couple opportunities for some bigger plays. So we gotta help those guys be more comfortable making some plays down the stretch.
Yeah, do you look at that as kind of an open competition going into Western this week?
Yeah, it's been like that for the past 4 or 5 weeks. Okay, we've rotated them, let them both get reps with the 1s and the 2s, just depending on how the game goes, so they would both be ready. This week will be no different. We'll practice them both. We'll make a game time decision on who gets the first snaps, and the way I like to do it, though, is whoever gets the first snaps, if they're hot, they just stay in the game. I don't tell both of them they're going to play. I just tell them both be ready to play. But you'll probably, unless one gets the hot hand early, you'll probably get an opportunity to see both of them again this week.
One guy we haven't really talked about much on the show this year is Kendall Watson, a guy who's actually listed as a defensive back on the roster, but we saw him make an impact as a receiver this past week, and 129 yards receiving and a touchdown.
Well, Kendall's been a good player for us this season. He had a breakout game against Tennessee Tech early in the year. He's been in a backup role. Jai Kramer got injured against Mercer, so Kendall took over the starting role again this week. We've played him on both sides, on the right side and the left side receiver. But he's a really good player. He's tough. When we are able to get him the ball, he makes plays, and this week was no different.
Yeah, unfortunately, he did have some injuries come up in this Chattanooga game. Chris Schelling got hurt, didn't re-enter. John Staten also, 2 big players went on each side of the ball. What's the status of them moving forward?
Well, one thing, every team's like this. You get to this point of the season, especially, we started a little earlier. The injuries are starting to mount up, but we have some guys that have really stepped up well. The other night, we got really thin on defense, so I was proud of those guys for fighting hard in the second half. Staten got injured, there's a question. I think he would be out this week if I had to guess today. Shelley should be able to return this week. And then a big blow that was not an injury was when Jalen Nash got the targeting call against him and had to miss 3/4 of the game. But fortunately, going into this week, he's eligible to play immediately come Saturday. So, we're battling the injury bug just like everybody else. I think our spirits have been good. But again, each week brings on its new challenges.
Obviously, the season hasn't progressed the way you would have liked it to. What do you want to see out of your team the last couple of weeks?
Well, first of all, let me say this: it's a good group of guys, and they've all fought hard. We've come up short. I was read a stat the other day by our DOFO and player personnel guys that since I've been here, we've played 21 one-possession games, and we're 10-11 in those deals. So as coaches and players, we got to figure out a way to make those extra plays or put them in a position to make those extra plays. And if you look at that, we're sitting here in a really good shape, but we didn't. So this week I expect us to go play extremely hard with great energy and great passion. This time of year you cut the practices back a little bit just because from a mental fatigue and physical fatigue. But I expect it to be a tough battle. Western is a difficult place to play. We've been beat the last 2 times we've been there. They're not having a great season, very similar to us. So again, evenly matched teams playing one another. I'd like to see us go out there and execute and really have a good time. I mean, and enjoy playing the game. And that's what I want to see out of our team.
Yeah, how has the team responded in practice?
It's been difficult. We're beat up. We're tired. So you as a coach, you got to cut back. You got to limit what periods you go really hard and what periods you kind of pull back and do more teaching, because it has been a long season. And then you take all the close defeats and even the close wins. Mentally, it drains you. But again, we got a good group. The other day. Again, I say we came out flat, but to me, a mark of a good team and a good culture is, that game could have got out of hand quickly, and all of a sudden, early in third quarter, we're right back in it. So it says a lot about the character of our players and our coaches to continue to fight hard. I expect us to do the same this week.
Going to Cullowhee, as you mentioned, a tough place to play. What do you expect to see out of the Catamounts this weekend?
Well, again, they've struggled a little bit, but they're an aggressive team. QB-wise, a guy can run and throw. They run a lot of RPO game. I think it's just each and every week we need to travel well. We need to be able to be able to throw the ball a little more consistently on offense. And then defensively, we got to get off the field. We're allowing them to have too many long drives. So if we can do those things and make a play or two in the kicking game, hopefully we can come home with a big win.
Coach, appreciate your time. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Samford head coach Chris Hatcher, I'm John McAfoose. That'll do it for this edition of the Chris Hatcher Show presented by Coca-Cola.